afternoon, Dunkirk and Fredonia listeners, and welcome back to News at Noon. News at Noon is brought to you by Fredonia Radio Systems on WCVF 88.9 and WDVL 89.5. I'm News Director Lee Pye here today with my news assistants, Maisie Strader, Sara Lodespoto, Joshua Ribakove, as well as Hunter Halterman and Sports Director Matt Volz. With this top-of-the-hour update, we'll bring you the latest of SUNY Fredonia's campus news and events, sports, weather, and music, as well as national and international news. First up, we'll bring it to Maisie for our latest campus news updates.
Good morning. The Biology Club is hosting a slime-making party in the Science Center, room 130, tonight at 7. Come join the Biology Club for snacks, music, and some sticky stuff. In 1990, a question was posed to a mathematician. Her name was Marilyn Vos Savant. The question reflected a theory called the Monty Hill problem and spread a debate amongst the math community. However, tonight, 4 to 5:30 in the Wilson classroom located in the Science Center, the math team and its advisor, Dr. Robert Rogers, will be putting the theory to the test. If you're interested in both film and history, come to see the Iroquois creation story brought to life in a live-action dance and animated film. The movie will be shown in the Dyers Recital Hall located in Mason from 6 to 7. Lastly, for this week's campus news is the fall sweep. This Saturday, November 11th, clubs will be participating in raking the lawns of the Fredonia families. Along with leaves, there will be food and raffles. If you don't get a chance to join, still come walk by and see the students hard at work. If you wanted to rake instead, contact ACA President Amara Gori by email. That's it for campus news. Now let's send it back to Lee.
Thanks, Maisie. Next up, we have local news. On Tuesday at the Jamestown High School, students were taken into custody after a physical altercation broke out in the cafeteria. Around 11 a.m. yesterday, more than a dozen police cars were lined up in the front of the high school, with several officers posted at the front entrance. The school held up a, quote, hold-in place, where the students stay where they are until the problem is resolved. The Jamestown Public Schools said, quote, the school will seek the maximum disciplinary actions as allowed within the district policies and the state law, end quote. Because they are students, the names are not released. The Dunkirk Holiday Parade is happening on December 1st. The Special Medals of Dunkirk are sponsoring the event, as well as support from the New York State Office for People with Developmental Disabilities. The theme for the parade is Holiday Movie Magic, where you can dress up as your favorite holiday character and decorate your cars the same. The parade lineup will begin at 5 p.m. on 3rd Street between Robin Street and Central Avenue. The event will feature entertainment before the parade at 5:30 in City Hall. The parade will begin at 6:30 p.m., traveling south towards City Hall and end at Brooks Memorial Hospital on 6th Street. Trophies will be awarded to the parade floats for winning the best theme, most creative, best youth involvement, best business, best school, best nonprofit, and best emergency vehicle and people's choice. Anyone who's interested in participating in the parade can apply online on the website www.cityofdunkirk.com. That's www.cityofdunkirk.com by November 27th. Make sure to dress warm for the Dunkirk Holiday Parade on Friday, December 1st at 6:30 p.m. on Central Avenue. U.S. Representative Nick Langworthy had the opportunity to meet with the Fredonia Middle School last week on their trip to Washington, D.C. Langworthy talked with them on the steps of the Capitol, answering their questions about the federal government, Congress, and his role representing the 23rd District in the House. That's it for your local news update. Let's bring it to the sports guy, Matt Volz.
Thanks, Lee, and good afternoon, everybody. The men's basketball team opens up their season tonight as they host Pennsylvania-based Allegheny College in a non-conference matchup. The team is looking to improve upon last year's 2-23 record. Tonight's game tips off at 7 p.m. in the Dodds Hall Gym. The women's basketball season will begin on Saturday afternoon as they host Hilbert in a non-conference game. The team has an even mix of youth and experience, including 3 freshmen and 3 seniors. Saturday's game will tip off at 1 p.m. in the Dodds Hall gym. The men's and women's swimming and diving teams will head to Alfred this Saturday for a meet against Alfred University and the University of Rochester. The men's team enters the meet at 0-3, while the women's team sits at 1-2. The meet will begin at noon. And finally, the regular season home opener for the hockey team is Friday night as the Blue Devils host SUNYAC rival Buff State. The 2 teams will also meet in Buffalo on Saturday night. Fredonia enters the weekend at 0-4 in search of their first win of the regular season. Puck drop is slated for 7 p.m. at the Steel Hall Ice Arena. Well, the Sabres were in Raleigh, North Carolina last night, falling to the Hurricanes 3-2 in overtime. Despite a Rasmus Dahlin power play goal that tied the game midway through the third period, Buffalo was unable to get 2 points as Carolina forward Martin Necas buried the winner in overtime. The Sabres still have not won in Carolina since March 22, 2016, but getting a point did allow them to keep pace with other Eastern Conference teams and remain tied for the final wildcard spot at 6-6-1. And finally, the Bills' offensive struggles have led many fans to call for the firing of offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey, so much so that quote-unquote "Fire Dorsey" was trending on social media on Monday. However, head coach Sean McDermott gave his offensive play caller a vote of confidence during a press conference on Monday. Bills beat reporter Joe Biscaglia reported that a question inquiring about the possibility of a coordinator change was met with an emphatic no from McDermott. The Bills are in action again next Monday night as they host the Denver Broncos. That's it for your sports update. Let's send it to Sara for the weather.
Now, here is your Northern Chautauqua weather update brought to you by Fredonia Radio Systems.
Hey everyone, today is chilly with a high of 49 and some clouds. You don't need your umbrella now, but take it out later in the afternoon. Tonight's temperature doesn't actually get drastically lower, since it only drops to 44. However, don't let that fool you, since throughout the evening, there'll be periods of rainfall and a possibility of thunder. Personally, I'm not a morning person, let alone a morning runner. But if you happen to be, consider running on a treadmill, since there's a morning shower tomorrow. While the rain clears and the clouds remain, the temperatures rise to 58. The skies clear up a bit in the evening as it chills to the mid-40s. That's it for your 2-day weather. Keep listening, and I'll be back with the rest of your weekend forecast. For now, let's take it to Lee for our local music update.
Could we please slow down? I can't hear you when you talk that loud. And come around and come back down.
The Fredonia Radio System's legacy show, The Local Lowdown, is presenting a music show called the Beach Fest. There are vendors to sell their products such as Fredonia Radio System's records and CDs, Oopsie art by Sara, and more. Dressing up like you're on the beach is highly suggested. The music that all the Beach Boys will be jamming out to is the Burkharts, Johnny and the Man Kids, Beach Tower, which is what you're listening to right now, Star Juice, and Fruit Fly. The Local Lowdown Beach Fest event is on November 11th at Main Street Studios on 50 West Main Street, Fredonia. Doors are at 7 p.m. and music is at 7:30 p.m. That's all I have for music news this week. Let's bring it to Josh for national and international news.
Late yesterday afternoon, the House voted 234 against 188 to censure Democratic Representative Rashida Tlaib as a formal rebuke of her comments on the Israel-Hamas war. A censure is when the House Speaker formally admonishes an offending congressperson as disapproval of their wrongdoing. Tlaib represents Michigan, and she is the only Palestinian American in Congress. For a long time, she has faced criticism about her view on the conflict in the Middle East, and she has made several controversial comments about the current war. The House had rejected a previous censure against Rashida Tlaib, but this new censure is going to follow through as it accuses her of, quote, promoting false narratives regarding the October 7th, 2023 Hamas attack on Israel and for calling for the destruction of the State of Israel, end quote. Tlaib claims that her comments were simply calling for a ceasefire, while allegations claim that she was calling for violence against Israel. As election time rolls in, there has been much concern about the use of AI for election advertisements. Today, social media and technology giant Meta announced that come 2024, advertisers using artificial intelligence for political, social, or election-related advertising will need to disclose to users that they used AI. On Monday, Meta publicly stated that they will bar political campaigns from using Meta's generative AI advertising products in order to prevent the spread of election misinformation. In an update posted to their help center, Meta stated, quote, "As we continue to test new generative AI ads, creation tools in Ads Manager, advertisers running campaigns that qualify as ads for housing, employment, or credit or social issues, elections or politics, or related to health, pharmaceuticals, or financial services aren't currently permitted to use these generative AI features," end quote. Meta says that campaigns don't need to disclose the use of AI when it is used for inconsequential or immaterial to the claim, assertion, or issue raised in the ad. This means campaigns can still use AI for image cropping, color correction, or image sharpening. The past couple of years have been a big time for the production of video game-themed movies, including the Super Mario Bros. Movie and Sonic the Hedgehog. Although those are mostly animated movies, some folks have been wondering what the next live-action game-themed movie will be. Today, Nintendo announced that they will be producing a live-action film of The Legend of Zelda. Nintendo has been working to bolster sales through production of merchandise and movies. Nintendo's release states, quote, "By producing visual contents of Nintendo IP by itself, Nintendo is creating new opportunities to have people from around the world to access the worlds of entertainment which Nintendo has built through different means apart from its dedicated game consoles," end quote. Nintendo says the movie will be directed by Wes Ball and produced by Nintendo and Arid Productions. There is no official estimation of when the movie will be released. That's all for today's national and international news. Now let's bring it back to Sara for the rest of this week's weather forecast.
Hey y'all, I've come to a realization. No, it's nothing crazy like I have an identical twin sister. I already knew that since I was born. It's the fact that the colder it gets outside, the more tea I drink. With the temperature dropping this weekend, I'm curious to see how many cups of tea I boil. A great place to start with the weather is Friday. With 51 degrees, Friday appears to be a normal, cloudy day if you're inside. However, looks can be deceiving, especially during the afternoon when the strong wind gusts kick in and it starts to rain. Maybe you can't trust your eyes, but you know I always have your back. Later into the night, it drops into the low 40 with light cloud cover. I wish the temperature would rise a little higher as we talk about Saturday. It's a chilly 45 degrees with high cloud cover. Of course, the rain during the day chills us more like it isn't cold enough already. Entering the night, the showers continue while it glooms into the mid-30s. I now understand why Sunday is called Sunday, because most of our clouds disappear and the sun shines on us. However, the rays don't heat us up since it's a cold 43. I'm going to be in a blanket burrito before I go to bed that night because it drops into the upper 20s. That's it for your weekend forecast. Let's take it right back to Lee.
That'll wrap up for today's edition of News at Noon. Campus news is written and read by Maisie Strader. Local news for this broadcast is prepared by Lee Pye. Weather for this is presented by Sara Lodespoto. Sports is presented by Matt Volz. Music is prepared by Lee Pye. National and international news is prepared by Joshua Ribakove. And finally, board operations for this broadcast are performed by Hunter Halterman. Thanks for tuning in to News at Noon. Join us every Monday and Wednesday at 12 p.m. on WCVF at 88.9 and WDVL 89.5. From all of us at Fredonia Radio Systems, have a wonderful and warm day.